Hello class, this is a continuation on the difference of these two functions when it comes to graphing them. So let's get straight into it. So as we've seen, it's best to try and apply these rules as much as we can, and let's see how many points we can come up with. So let's first take a look at when f is equal to 0. Well, f is 0 at this point here. When f is 0, so 0 minus 1, 0 minus 1 becomes positive 1. There are actually no other x-intercepts for f along here, so we're actually finished with this point. Let's find points where g of a is equal to 0. Well, g of a is equal to 0 here. Well, it's going to be f of x minus 0. Well, in this case, we actually can't plot that point as well. In the exact same way, we tried looking for the points where they are equal, as here. However, as we've seen that we actually can't apply this as we've seen it in the previous example, so we can't do that. And lastly, let's find the points where they are equal to one another. So points of intersection are here. It becomes an x-intercept. Point of intersection here. This also becomes an x-intercept. Now, just like in the previous one, we have so few points that we can't graph it just yet. So let's just do the exact same thing here, where we applied some logic and reasoning for this. Let's take a look at the right-hand side first. This point here, it's going to be 2 minus 1, because f here is 2, g is 1, 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. This point here, that's going to be f is 3, g is 0.5, 3 minus 0.5 is 2.5. Let's pick another point here. This is, let's say, a quarter, 0.25. In g, at that same point, f is, let's say, for example, 6. 6 minus 0.25 is 5.75. So it should be very close up there, like so. Now I hope you can already see that as g is approaching 0, let's say we pick a very small number here. G at that point is 0.01. At that same point, f is equal to a very large number. Let's say it's 10. 10 minus 0.01 is 9.99. Just like what we did in the previous one, it should look indistinguishable from f itself, because we're taking a very large number minus by a very small number. So large number minus a very small number, it's as if it never happened. So when we graph this, as we move further up like this, it should look indistinguishable from f. Only when we get to these points further down should we be able to look as if it were changing. So we can already see these points like so. Now we're going to look at the behavior of the curves as we move to the right. Now in the exact same way, let's pick, let's say, some point of f here. That's going to be, actually no, let's do a few points first. This one here is about 1.5. 1.5 in f minus 2. 1.5 minus 2 is negative half. So at that point it's going to be negative half. This point here is, let's say, from the looks of it, 1.4. And this point on g looks to be about 2.5. 1.4 minus 2.5 is negative 1.1. negative 1.1 should be about there. Now notice, as f keeps approaching, well, keeps going to the right, my apologies, don't know what happened there. As f keeps going to the right, it's approaching 1. So let's say we pick a point very far to the right of f. Let's say it's 1. We're going to be subtracting g. So let's say g at some point is going to be equal to 5. Okay, 1 minus 5 is 4. When we pick another point to the right of f, it's going to be approaching 1 once again, and we're going to be minusing a value of g, but g is a linear function, so the next point, let's say, is 6. Sorry, it should be negative. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. If we pick yet another point to the right of f, because remember, f is going to continuously approach 1, but the function of g is a linear function, so the next one's going to be 7. 1 take away 7 is negative 6. Notice that as f keeps going to the right, it's going to approach 1. But g is going to continuously be a linear function. So notice that this is actually forming a linear function itself. So as we keep going to the right, eventually it's going to look just like a linear function with a gradient of negative 1, like so. So that there is the right hand side. So it should look like a curve going down like this, and eventually at some point it'll look like it's just a straight line going downwards like that. If you were to apply the exact same logic on the left hand side, let's say once again we're taking a very negative point here and we're subtracting a very small point. So let's say negative 10 minus 0.01. That will give us negative 9.99. It's indistinguishable, and that logic applies all along here. It's a very negative number minus a very small number, so it should look like it's indistinguishable from f, almost as if it were overlapping like so. Now in the exact same logic, as f keeps going to the left, it's going to approach 1. So let's pick a point on f. Let's say it's 1, because remember, this is going to be approaching 1. 1 minus some point on g. Let's say it's going to be negative 3. Negative 3. 1 minus 3 is 4. If we move to the left for f, it's going to approach 1. And we're going to minus a point in g. Well, the next point on g, if it's negative 3, because it's linear, the next point is going to be 4. 1 minus negative 4 is 5. Notice how this, yet again, is forming a linear function. So, the exact same way that this, on the right hand side, curves down, and eventually almost looks like a linear function, this does the same. It's going to go upwards like so. It's going to curve, but eventually it should look like a linear function like that. So it should curve and eventually become a linear function like so. And that right there is what it should look like if you take the difference of the two functions. Now as for this last one, I actually put this in place as sort of a trick question, because if you try and now apply all this logic very carefully, you should get the following if you do it as a shortcut. Now take a look. If you were to multiply these, we're actually going to do f of x times x. Let's expand what this looks like. Let's just move this here. So x outside of 1 over x plus 1. Expanding this becomes x times 1 over x. That's x over x, which is just going to be 1. X times 1 is x. So, in reality, the product is actually the function 1 plus x. That's actually very easy to graph because that's just a linear function of gradient 1 with a y-intercept of 1. So it should look like this. It should look parallel to that one there. So that there is actually the function, the product of these two functions. It should be something as simple as this. So I hope that gave you an insight into this. Hope what you took from this last example, especially if there are asymptotes, it's actually best to expand and multiply out the function and see the resulting function first before you go through all of this. As for more practice on this one, I hope it sufficed to use this as our example. So this concludes all the graphing of combined functions. I hope to see you in the next video. Best of luck.